So, you wanna learn Japanese. Where to start? The first thing you need to learn is hiragana and katakana because that's what we use. Conventionally, people start memorizing all the letters, but I wanna recommend something else. Start with authentic materials, including TV shows, books, anime with Japanese subtitles, and family-friendly manga, etc. TV shows and anime are good because they have audio input. Find short sentences and learn the letters. Let me demonstrate using Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san, as I always do. They are playing hide and seek.
よし行ったうん
Now, pick a short sentence and find each letter on the hiragana chart. This is yo, this is shi, so it's
よし
another one. These are na, de, so, nande. Now it's true that anime characters don't always talk like real-life Japanese people, but with anime like Karakai Jozu no Takagi-san, the characters more or less talk like real-life Japanese people with some exceptions. So this is a good anime to start. And voice actors pronounce words clearly, so anime are actually pretty good for beginners. But before you start saying that 2D waifu are better than 3D women, let me just add that don't just watch anime. Watch something like reality TV shows or YouTube videos where you can hear unscripted real-life Japanese. Or you can go outside and talk to real-life people like a normal human being. If you keep learning like this, there will be a moment where you know half of the letters when you don't know half of the letters. This could be a good time to start memorizing the other letters. This is like having an incomplete collection of letters. And when you have an incomplete collection, it makes you want to complete it. But of course, you can also keep learning with authentic materials. And you might get curious about some of the words you see, and if you do, look them up. If you want to know what nande means, look it up. It means why. And if you have trouble identifying letters, you can use Google Translate app. Technologies are amazing. But this kind of curiosity, a desire to learn something is very important. It's much better than passively memorizing what textbooks and teachers feed you. People have this misconception that learning a language is a linear process like studying a textbook from cover to cover. That's not how it works in the real world. But remember, you don't have to understand everything.
こんなので勝てると思ったの？ほんとうまいね
This sentence is probably too difficult for you if you are a complete beginner, even if you use a dictionary. It's completely normal because you don't understand everything. You only understand what you understand. But how about kanji? I recommend learning the basic concepts so that you can start learning them from authentic materials. I have a separate video for learning kanji. And after learning hiragana and katakana, you can continue using authentic materials to acquire the language. Many people think that they need to learn a lot of grammatical rules before using authentic materials. But that's not true. There's many easy sentences to start with, such as
斜め77度の並びで泣く泣くいななく七半七台難なく並べて長々め
But the Japanese writing system isn't beginner friendly because it's not easy for beginners to divide sentences into words. To solve this problem, you can learn a couple of grammatical concepts, particles, and inflections. There's a lot of resources for this, but if you want to learn Japanese with me, I will teach you the kind of Japanese that real-life Japanese people today actually speak because textbooks and apps don't explain real-life Japanese. So click the link in the description and subscribe. So, particles. These are some of the most common ones. Particles generally indicate relations of words or add nuances. For example, no indicates possession, as in, 俺の嫁, my wife. 俺 is a masculine way of saying I, and 嫁 is wife. But this particular expression is actually a slang word for your favorite female anime character, aka waifu. So this is where the word waifu came from. Another example.
次の授業数学から整形に変更だってよ。
He said, 次の授業. 次, next. 授業, class. So it means next class. No is actually used a lot in anime titles. 僕のヒーローアカデミア. 僕 is another masculine first person pronoun. 君の名は君 you. な name. は is another particle. By the way, this hiragana is ha, but when it's a particle, you read it as wa. 千と千尋の神隠し to in this context is and. 神隠し is a supernatural phenomenon where somebody disappears for no reason. But how about this no? This is a dating show, and the guy is talking about meeting his girlfriend's parents.
まだ会ってない。
まだ会ってないです。
紙
まだ会ってない。
まだ会ってないです。
紙
No here is a very contextual word that refers to something like a pre-existing context. And in this case, it's the fact that the guy hasn't met his girlfriend's parents. This is not a very easy word to use for English speakers, so it's okay if you don't understand it right away. Now, recognizing particles makes it easy to divide sentences into words. This is another dating show, 相乗り.
聞きたいことがあるっちゃけど、ここに何の目的で来たのかなと思って。
朝から怖っ。
ここに何の目的で来たのかなと思って。Let me highlight the particles. Now it's easy to identify words like ここ here, 何 what, 目的 objective. Another one.
何目的に来たの？前乗りの
一
旅。
番の目的は何なんだろう。ごくごくごくとか言う。
Let me highlight the particles. Did you notice that they use the word 目的 many times? If you see the same word repeatedly, it would be a good idea to look it up. And 目的 means objective. But can I just talk about how I love this scene? So this is a popular reality TV show called 相乗り, where guys and girls travel together in a foreign country and hope to fall in love. But the girls are unhappy because the guys aren't trying hard enough to find the romance. So they are questioning the guys, why did you come here? Anyway, did you notice no in these sentences? 一番の目的 一番 top 目的 objective 何の目的何 what which is pronounced as 何 here. 相乗り is the title of this show and 旅 is trip. As you can see, learning common particles really helps you understand Japanese. And another useful grammatical concept is inflections. Japanese words often change or inflect to express different meanings. For example, 思う means to think. This is called a dictionary form because you find this form in a dictionary. And 思った is a past form of 思う. This is probably not very hard to understand because English verbs also have past forms. Speak, spoke. Watch, watched. Take a look at this.
こんなので勝てると思ったの？ほんと甘いね。
Did you hear 思った? Now you know they're describing a past action. You can also inflect 思う to 思いたい to express a desire. I want to think. When you see たい, you know that they are expressing a desire. Now, how about 勝てる?
こんなので勝てると思ったの？ほんと甘いね。
勝てる is an inflection of 勝つ to win. 勝てる means to be able to win. So this form expresses a possibility or potential. Can do something. How about this one?
調整してから行くのじゃん。いや行かない。このまま行くでしょ。調整してから行くのじゃん。いや行かない。
So you hear 行く and 行かない. 行く is a dictionary form and it means to go. And 行かない is actually a negative form, so not to go. They're talking about adjusting his appearance to see his girlfriend's parents. And he said, no, I don't go making these adjustments, meaning shaving his facial hair. Now, if this makes you want to learn the rules of inflections, you can certainly do it. But if you find the idea kind of boring, you don't have to. You can use grammatical rules and explanations to understand authentic materials. It's better to learn them when you feel like they are relevant to you. For example,
調整してから行くじゃん。いや行かない。この
shite in this sentence is an inflection of する to do. And shite is called the te form because it ends with te. There's many ways of using the te form, but if I just randomly talk about the te form, you might not feel that it's very relevant to you. But what if you come across this scene?
とりあえずこれ運んでおくね。
待って。
She said 待って, which is the te form of 待つ to wait. Can you guess what she meant? She told the guy to wait. Now it's easier to understand one of the ways of using the te form because you have a context. And when you come across a short phrase like this, you should say it yourself. And you should say it exactly the way it's said, and you should record it. 待って! And the te form is everywhere.
ここに何の目的で来たのかなと思って。
思って is the te form of 思う to think. You can also use the te form this way to connect sentences or a series of actions.
まだ会ってない
会って is the te form of 会う to meet. And do you see ない? So maybe it's a negative form of something. Here, the te form plus ない expresses that you haven't done something. And when you see the same form over and over again, it makes you want to know more about it. In the beginning, you might spend a lot of time on instructional materials, but as you progress, and maybe sooner than you think, you can spend a lot of time on authentic materials, and that's a sign that you are actually acquiring Japanese rather than just memorizing a bunch of rules. If you're spending more time with authentic materials than instructional materials, you are doing it right. But I haven't covered everything in this video. There are other important concepts like levels of politeness or pitch accent. So if you want to learn Japanese with me, I will explain the kind of Japanese that real-life Japanese people today actually speak because textbooks and apps don't do that. So click the link and subscribe to my email group, Japanese with Yuta.